We're going to begin Lab 6, Plant Exudates, by talking about latex. And the main goal of this lab is to be able to distinguish between the properties of gums, latex, and resins, learn about the different extraction methods, learn about the naval stores industry, and even make a rubber ball from latex if you'd like. What is latex? Remember that it is a milky secretion that's actually an emulsion of different chemicals. In plant families that produce latex, they have special things called laticifers that allow them to transfer the latex throughout the body system of the plant. At the top here we have some simple or non-articulated laticifers from Euphorbia. See, they are long and they have many nuclei. Non-articulated, once again, is this one. We also have articulated compound laticifers that are found in Musa here, where you see there are breaks in the laticifer. While this looks like a cactus, it's actually a member of the Euphorbiaceae. And if you were to break off a piece of this, you would see it exuding a white, milky sap. There are about 40 different plant families that do display latex. And here are just a few examples of those. Really commonly known ones are the Euphorbiaceae, Sabataceae, Moraceae, the fig family. Here's Gutta percha. It's a trans rubber used in dental work and the interior of golf balls. However, this is the most important and likely well-known resource of rubber, the rubber tree. Para rubber tree, Hevea brasiliensis. This has some different features of the plant itself, and you can see that there is a bucket that has been used to collect this latex that's leaked from the tree where they have tapped the tree. And you see there's a small metal apron allowing that to drip down into the holder. Here's some more information about the Para rubber tree. Remember that it is native to the Amazon, but mostly grown in Asia now. Here we have the process of going from the rubber tree to tapping the tree with something sharp that allows the latex to escape. That latex is diluted by water and coagulated by adding acid, then formed into sheets where it is then washed and milled. It turned into a coagulum, and after smoke drying turns into smoked sheets of rubber. Here is some latex that has been collected in the field and mixed with ammonia to protect it. So as you can see here, you can raise the rubber content from 30 to 60%. Then you add ammonia to preserve the latex so the particles don't coagulate. Here we have some dried poppy seeds. And when these were, before they were dried, so the poppy family, this is the poppy. So it's got slightly colored latex rich in alkaloids. It's not appropriate for rubber production. If you slice that bud open, you can see that white milky sap is exuding from the poppy. And poppy seeds are commonly used in many foods, but we also, opium is derived from poppy as well, which can be turned into many different other drugs through different pathways. Section 1.2, we're going to look at different samples of para rubber from Euphorbiaceae. Just as ammonia was used to prevent the latex from coagulating, acetic acid or vinegar can be added to accelerate the process of coagulation. Here we have many different types of para rubber samples that were developed for tires. Okay, pretty good tire. See the different layers. Here is another example that can be used in automobile tires and pulley belts. See what this feels like. pretty dense and pretty dark. So consider that. This weird looking thick pale crepe can be used for shoe soles, which is pretty interesting. It's thick, as I say. It looks kind of like a hard cheese wafer. Here we have some ribbed smoke sheet oil. Here we have just a few more samples of Goodyear rubber. They're marked by different numbers. So lowest grade rubber. Their different markings will determine how good the rubber is. And we finally have honey soil. Oh, actually, we had that over there. Look at honey colored sole crepe. So this is also used for sole shoes as well. This leaves us with a pretty good question. What is rubber? So it is a polymer of isoprene molecules. So there is the isoprene, and they are a polymer, so it's many together. And if they are cis or trans, this will influence how they react when they bounce, how these different rubbers will respond to different stresses. We are familiar with many everyday items that are made out of rubber as well. Here are some examples. And here are some of those examples in real life. Here's some information about the eraser. Very important product made from the natural rubber, powder rubber. The rubber band is made from, or 75% of our rubber bands now are made of synthetic rubber. As you can see, rubber bands are mass produced, but a lot of work goes into this, and we buy these rubber bands for very cheap, and that's not always so fair. First, I'm going to cover the Asteraceae, or sunflower family, and focus on a plant that provides rubber here, Goya yew in the American Southwest. It's the second best source of American rubber. Here is a root of that particular plant and some images to give you some context. Sapotacea also is home to a lot of different rubbers, such as that one we saw inside the golf ball. So this is chicle, or called Sapodilla, and you see the tree here. And this is true gum here. It used to be made into gum, so they would tap trees for this. All of these are different types of unprocessed chicle that you can eat. So glee gum, pure chicle. In the fig family, we also have a few members that produce rubber. So Ficus elastica and Castilla elastica. Castilla elastica produces Panama rubber, and that's shown here. The milkweed family is also very popular for having latex. You break off one leaf, there's latex. So in the milkweed family, we have pallet rubber made from some sorts of Apocynaceae. And you may be common with this name, milkweed, because a lot of butterflies are host plants on this particular plant. Here is a leaf of Clusia. It has a very waxy coating. Very waxy. I'm going to rip off the leaf. And immediately, well, fairly immediately, you see latex coming from those canals. This station focuses on Sapotacea as a source of rubber. A very important source of rubber when, after World War II, I believe we needed rubber in mass. So the tree itself is tapped to reach that exudate that is dripping out there. The tapper removes a thin layer of bark and continues to move downward in a spiral-like motion. Apparently, it will last up to 5 years if you do it carefully. And here are some various pictures of the rubber being processed. Very difficult, extensive process to make rubber. Here are some photos of some red algae, Laurencia, nice. And this is actually where we get some of our agar from. A lot of things that go into our own foods are red algae. So we have a highly refined agar coming from red algae. We can use that to make culture plates to grow bacteria on, and use it to visualize DNA, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's been really well known for its properties, and it's pretty cheap. You can grow bacteria on it. It's a pretty cool product. So the gum component of the agar is produced by different genera of the red algae. And here's the process of how it's extracted and removed. Carrageenan has been used for a very long time. It's been widely used in things like ice cream, salad dressings, lunch meats. Here's some different products and kind of scientific grade agar. This is in a powder form, so you can mix this with water and heat it, and it will create a sort of jello-like mixture that will then harden. Here we have xanthan gum, which is actually produced by a bacteria. Very interesting. But it's in a lot of products, even your mascara or your toothpaste or something that you use on here. Quickly, we have Texas peat, gum sandarac in the cypress family. In the bean family, we have gum tragacanth. Also, we have gum sandarac in the Cupressaceae family. And Anacardiaceae, we have gum mastic. So remember, Anacardiaceae is the same family as poison ivy, cashews, mangoes. We have a species here on campus. We moved quickly through some gums. Now we're going to talk about resins. So resins are derived from terpenoids. Remember, these are very smelly chemicals and produced in these special cells and released into the resin ducts or canals. They burn brightly, a lot of them smell good, they're pretty cool. Frankincense and myrrh are both in the Burseraceae or Gumbo limbo family. Frankincense, myrrh, and gold are part of a Christian tradition. And here are both of those shown here. So they have been used for religious purposes, ceremonies, things of the sort. Here's a quick description on myrrh. Here we have myrrh that you can heat in order to release the smell, as shown in that bottom left panel of the picture. And these are resin ducts and resin that's just dripping from this plant wound. A lot of our resins come from pines. Canada balsam produces a resin, and we have some cover slips of that here. And a little bit of information is refined oleoresin of the bark of balsam fir. Here's the resin station in full view. If you've watched Jurassic Park, you are familiar with amber and the fact that potentially DNA can be saved in order to recreate dinosaurs, which I don't know. So this is amber, and it's beautiful, a beautiful resin that can trap insects, and it can be used for jewelry. It's very beautiful. Here we have some synthetic resin to replace that Canada balsam. From Dipterocarpaceae, a family you've likely not heard of, we have Damara varnish and Damar resin, which can come from either of these trees. This is an image showing a resin duct, tracheids, and a secretory cell. In Styracaceae, we have benzoin. It's aromatic, smells vanilla-like. And here is an image of that particular plant itself. Make sure you know the difference between cis and trans rubbers and how they react.